Brazil in 1925 was a nation defined by its vast landscapes, stretching from the Amazon rainforest in the north to the rolling hills and plains in the south. These diverse terrains were not just geographical features, but the lifeblood of the country. The nation's economy was heavily dependent on coffee, often referred to as black gold. Coffee plantations sprawled across the countryside, and the rhythm of life for many Brazilians was dictated by the coffee harvest. Coffee fueled the economy, but its fluctuations created instability. The global market's unpredictable nature meant that prosperity could quickly turn to hardship, affecting everyone from plantation owners to the workers in the fields. The majority of Brazilians lived in rural areas, many working on large coffee plantations. These communities were tight-knit, with generations of families often working the same land. The social hierarchy was rigid, with power concentrated in the hands of the landed elite. These influential landowners not only controlled the economy, but also wielded significant political power. Cities like Rio de Janeiro and São Paulo were beginning to grow, attracting people seeking new opportunities. Urbanization was slowly taking root, bringing with it the promise of a different life. The seeds of change were being sown, but Brazil in 1925 remained a nation deeply tied to its past. Traditional cultural practices and historical roots were still very much a part of everyday life. The political landscape was dominated by oligarchies from powerful states. These political figures often came from the same elite families that controlled the land and the economy. These elites controlled vast tracts of land and held sway over the political system. Their influence was felt in every aspect of Brazilian life, from local governance to national policies. The voices of the urban working class and the rural poor were largely unheard. Despite their significant numbers, they had little say in the decisions that shaped their lives. Brazil in 1925 was a nation on the brink of transformation, poised for a century of dramatic change. The coming decades would see shifts in social structures, economic practices, and political landscapes, setting the stage for the Brazil we know today. The 1930s ushered in an era of profound change under the leadership of Getúlio Vargas. Vargas, a populist leader, seized power in a coup d'état in 1930. He aimed to modernize Brazil and break the grip of the coffee oligarchy. Vargas implemented a series of reforms that centralized power, promoted industrialization, and expanded workers' rights. The Vargas era was marked by both progress and authoritarianism. Vargas ruled as a dictator for a period, suppressing opposition and consolidating his control. However, he also oversaw significant economic development and social change. His policies laid the foundation for Brazil's industrial growth and its emergence as a major economic power in the latter half of the 20th century. Following a period of political instability, Brazil experienced a military coup in 1964. The military regime, which ruled for over 2 decades, promised to restore order and combat communist influence. However, the period was marked by repression, censorship, and human rights violations. Political opponents were silenced and freedom of expression was curtailed. Despite the oppressive political climate, the military government oversaw a period of rapid economic growth known as the Brazilian Miracle. Large infrastructure projects were undertaken and foreign investment flowed into the country. However, this economic growth came at a cost. Income inequality widened and many Brazilians remained mired in poverty. The legacy of the military dictatorship continues to shape Brazilian society today. Brazil returned to democracy in 1985, ushering in an era of hope and uncertainty. The country faced the daunting task of rebuilding its institutions and healing the wounds of the past. The transition to democracy was not without its challenges. Economic instability plagued the country, leading to hyperinflation and social unrest. Despite the challenges, Brazil made significant strides in consolidating its democracy. New constitutions were drafted, guaranteeing civil liberties and free elections. However, corruption and economic inequality remained persistent problems. The country struggled to find its footing in the new globalized economy, experiencing periods of growth followed by setbacks. Section 5. The rise of social programs and economic growth, 2000 to the 2010s. This decade marked a transformative era for Brazil, characterized by significant changes and developments. The early 21st century saw Brazil experience a period of economic growth and social progress. The country witnessed a surge in its GDP, driven by a booming commodities market and increased foreign investments. The government implemented ambitious social programs aimed at reducing poverty and inequality. Initiatives like Bolsa Familia provided financial aid to millions of low-income families, ensuring better access to education and healthcare. These programs, combined with favorable economic conditions, lifted millions of Brazilians out of poverty. Urban and rural areas alike saw improvements in living standards, with infrastructure projects transforming city slums and rural communities. Brazil emerged as a global player, asserting its influence on the world stage. The country took on a more prominent role in international organizations and hosted numerous diplomatic events, showcasing its growing importance. The discovery of vast offshore oil reserves further fueled Brazil's economic rise. Petrobras, the state-controlled oil company, became a symbol of national pride and economic potential. The country hosted major international events, including the 2014 FIFA World Cup and the 2016 Summer Olympics. These events not only boosted tourism, but also showcased Brazil's cultural vibrancy and organizational capabilities. However, this period of prosperity was not without its critics. Social unrest and protests highlighted the ongoing struggles faced by many Brazilians despite the economic growth. Concerns about corruption, environmental degradation, and the sustainability of economic growth remained. The deforestation of the Amazon and political scandals cast a shadow over the nation's achievements, reminding the world of the challenges that lay ahead. Section 6. Cultural shifts from samba to funk and beyond. Brazil's cultural landscape underwent a dramatic transformation over the century. Samba, the music born in the favelas of Rio de Janeiro, remained an integral part of Brazilian identity. However, new musical genres emerged, reflecting the country's changing social fabric. Funk music, originating in the marginalized communities of Rio, gained immense popularity, particularly among young people. Brazilian literature flourished, with authors like Paulo Coelho gaining international acclaim. Soap operas, known as telenovelas, became a national obsession, shaping popular culture and sparking national conversations. Brazil's cultural influence extended beyond its borders, with its music, dance, and cuisine captivating audiences worldwide. Section 7. A nation of contrasts, wealth, poverty, and inequality. Despite its economic and social progress, Brazil remains a nation of stark contrasts. While a thriving middle class emerged, extreme poverty persists, particularly in the favelas and rural areas. Income inequality remains a major challenge, with a small elite controlling a disproportionate share of the country's wealth. Access to education, healthcare, and basic services varies greatly depending on socioeconomic status and geographic location. Indigenous communities continue to face discrimination and struggle to protect their land rights. Addressing these inequalities remains a pressing challenge for Brazil as it navigates the 21st century. Section 8. Brazil in 2025. Challenges and opportunities. As Brazil enters the year 2025, it faces a complex array of challenges and opportunities. The country is still grappling with the legacy of its past, including corruption, inequality, and political polarization. The COVID-19 pandemic exacerbated existing social and economic disparities, highlighting the fragility of progress. However, Brazil also possesses immense potential. Its young population, abundant natural resources, and vibrant culture provide a solid foundation for future growth. Technological innovation and entrepreneurship are flourishing, offering new pathways for development. Brazil's ability to address its challenges and harness its potential will determine its trajectory in the years to come. Section 9. Looking ahead, Brazil's place in the 21st century. Brazil's journey over the past century has been one of remarkable transformation. From its early days as a nation heavily reliant on coffee exports, Brazil has evolved into a diverse and dynamic economy. From a coffee-dependent nation to a global economic power, Brazil has diversified its economy, embracing industries such as finance, technology, and manufacturing. Brazil has overcome numerous obstacles and achieved significant progress. The country has invested heavily in infrastructure, education, and healthcare, leading to improved living standards for many of its citizens. As the country looks ahead to the rest of the 21st century, it faces both challenges and opportunities. Urbanization continues to shape its cities, with Sao Paulo and Rio de Janeiro becoming bustling metropolises. Brazil's role in the world is increasingly important. As a member of international organizations and a participant in global summits, Brazil's voice is heard on issues ranging from trade to climate change. Brazil has the potential to be a leader in sustainable development, leveraging its vast natural resources and biodiversity to create a more equitable and environmentally responsible future. The country is investing in renewable energy projects such as wind farms and solar panels to reduce its carbon footprint. By promoting sustainable agriculture and protecting its rich biodiversity, Brazil can set an example for the world. Efforts to conserve the Amazon rainforest are crucial not only for Brazil but for the global climate. Its cultural influence continues to grow, enriching the global tapestry. Brazilian music, dance, and festivals like Carnival are celebrated worldwide, showcasing the country's vibrant and diverse heritage. Brazil's success in addressing its internal challenges and embracing its global role will shape not only its own destiny, but also the future of the world. By fostering social initiatives and community projects, Brazil can ensure that its growth benefits all its citizens. International collaborations will further enhance its standing on the global stage, making Brazil a key player in the 21st century.